truths and rumors that don't get reported. Stories I write that are often distorted. Got my notebook and pen, and I'm ready to listen. Tell me the truth, I'll consider your position. I've seen killers with eyes so cold and dead, and others go to prison because of what someone said, rotting away for the rest of their lives, leaving a hole here on the outside. Things are sad here on earth, and it's no wonder why, when you consider the sociopaths who remain in charge. It's me who sees the system for all its flaws, and I usually start with the probable cause. My right hand is reading the probable cause. Welcome to The Probable Cause. This is a podcast covering the criminal justice system in Allen County, Indiana, northeastern Indiana, and the state. I'm your host, Jamie Duffy, a locally based journalist. And sitting next to me is our co-host, Michael McAlexander. He is the Allen County Prosecutor. Today, we are welcoming no less than 3 guests who are back from a very informative trip to Baltimore, Maryland, to learn how that city has reduced youth and gun violence. They are Roderick Parker, founder of Big Hearts Community Projects, and DrChef T. Cook, the executive director of Big Hearts, and her own organization, the Be Happy and Well Foundation, and Ty Simmons, executive director of the Human Agricultural Cooperative. And what did I find in my jewelry chest? But, got it upside down. His armband that I got many a year ago. I also have to say right now, on record, that years ago when I was following Ty, trying to get his youth gardening, which I really believe in, I love it, pesticide-free gardening, eat well, he gave me some chocolate mint, which has taken over my herb garden. And now he says he needs some back. So yeah, I know. I love it. And don't you worry, I'll be out there on, is it Tillman or Paulding? I can't remember.
No, we're on Oxford now.
Okay, Oxford. I will find you.
Yes, you will.
All right, but first the courts, Mike, what did we have in the courts this week?
A couple of trials going, no homicide cases this week. We did have a domestic case that ended up in a mistrial yesterday.
No kidding.
Well, some witnesses said some things about the defendant that would potentially taint the jury.
So did they say them outside the courtroom, inside the courtroom?
Inside the courtroom, so the jury could hear it.
Were they?
They talked about the defendant being in jail or being arrested, kind of thing.
Were they in the gallery when they said it?
No, they were on the witness stand.
Oh, well. Oh, can't do that.
Right.
Remember that, witnesses, can't do that. You can't talk about priors and all of that. And then the other one you were talking about?
Right now I can't remember. We had so many set. I'm not sure which one ended up going.
Oh, okay. All right. So last week I covered the sentencing of Devin Stewart and always thought I saw something familiar in his face. I actually met him when he was about 7 or 8. Devin was sentenced to 55 years for the unconscionable and unfathomable shooting death of an 86-year-old woman, Alice Hall. In the probable cause, he told Detective Gene Gigley, I probably didn't say that right,
Gigley.
because I do want to give it... Gigli. Okay, because it's a French name. He had nowhere to live, but that wasn't true. As a matter of fact, and we'll be talking about this, his mother told me probably when he was about 14 or 15, he was 18 when he shot Alice Hall. She tried everything to keep him home, but sometimes the streets are like a siren. Odyssey right now, the big movie, the siren, they answer that call. It's so strong, and I know Roderick and Ty, I know you can talk to this. You know kids who have answered that siren call. He would run off, not because there was no food to eat, not because he was being sexually assaulted or beaten. I know this woman well, and I know the circumstances. We talked 2 or 3 years ago on the phone over and over again. Jamie, I don't know what to do. She called DCS. She got to know the gang unit and police officers. She cried out to me after her son was sentenced. And then I said, when she contacted me, I said, oh my God, I know now who he was, as I saw him sitting there saying he was following the crowd. And then I found out with somebody who did work at ACJC, no longer is there, that Devin Stewart was bullied at ACJC. That's what he told me. And he was right there. So sometimes when your kids to be a certain age, there's sometimes there's so little you can do. I always say this, I raised 2 boys. And I know sometimes they go out that front door, you don't know where they're going. Yeah. They could say they're going to so-and-so's house and they end up somewhere else. And when they're 15, 16, they don't want their mamas following them. So I'm just saying that, yeah, we have 3 people here who went to Baltimore last week and talked to people involved in a project. What is the actual name of that project?
So the actual name, it falls under the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement, or MONSE. So I think the first acronym would be CVI, Community Violence Intervention, and then MONSE, which is, for lack of a better description, kind of like the council. It kind of pulls everything together, make sure everything moves in the.
So people on the street, what do they call it? Do they call it safe streets? Do they call it?
Well, it's depending on how they're involved. So when you're talking Cherry Hill, and they see this program, what they're looking at is safe streets. So you see in the orange shirts with the black writing,
okay,
with the emblem of one person standing in the middle between 2 other people, mediating, intervening, keeping them apart.
That's so neat. Yeah, I love that.
It's a powerful thing.
And so what do they call it? I mean, there are 10 catchment areas, so.
So as far as I know, we went to Cherry Hill. That was where we specifically did the work that we did while we was out there. But as far as I know, it's safe streets throughout the city of Boston.
So in Ty, you were saying that
Baltimore.
Cherry Hill is where most of the Black people in Baltimore live.
No, not necessarily. The area is predominantly Black.
Okay. Is this where the most of the homicides take?
They have several areas where in recent years they had a lot of homicides. But unfortunately, in this area, they dropped it dramatically. I mean, down to 1 last year, 0 the year before, and a couple other years they had 0 homicides at all.
2014, 2018, 2021, they had 0 homicides.
2014, they had 0?
Yes.
It's been going on that long?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So in the most quote unquote criminal area of the city, they decreased it down to 1 or 0.
And the significant part about Cherry Hill is the programs. They have implemented such a vast array of programs in that area. Like they have completely turned around the whole area.
So, I mean, they used to get heavily criticized. Even the congressman from that area, I remember, certain people politicians calling them out. Oh, look, you haven't done anything and this kind of thing. So the first half of 2026, over the entire city, which is a huge city, much bigger than we are in Fort Wayne, right? They've had 50. However, during the height of all this, 2026, 2025, as of July 1st, they had 65. So they're already down 15 from what they were last year. 2019, mid-year peak, significantly higher, on track for 348 for that year. So they have had some success. So let's go to Fort Wayne. So we know that the homicides in Fort Wayne have more or less been contained to around 30 every year. We were talking before cameras started rolling. Mike was estimating about 32 in Fort Wayne. Then you add 2 or 3 in the county. One of them this year was a police action shooting. But the numbers of teens killing each other and others, namely this 86-year-old lady, Alice Hall, seems to be on the rise. Is that what you all are saying?
I'm saying, I'm going to agree with that impartial. What I'm starting to realize now, Mike, is that this stuff is going from like 14 to like about 34, 35.
Really?
Yeah.
Not just the children.
Yeah, it's not just the youngsters. Like, we have those little pockets where we have to deal with those situations. But for me, the scope is so much broader now.
Well, they just hauled somebody in yesterday who was 32.
Yeah.
For a gun. I noticed that. Recognized the last name.
Yeah.
Sent it to you.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, like the Green Street situation, like everybody's hollering those kids, those kids, those kids. And the research that I've done, the information that I've been able to gather, we talking 24 to 34 years old, the shooters.
Yeah.
Because no arrest has been made yet.
It's some information that's moving around that I think is going to lead to an arrest sooner than later. But
And the kids on the video, I think it was the video that was so astonishing because we know, I went through with the gang unit, if anybody wants to watch that on the probable cause, some shootings that I was made aware of when I was a cops reporter on Gaywood, down here in the landing where they were running down the alley, where they just dropped their guns, but no video. In fact, the July 4th shooting from last year, 2025, there's no video. All of a sudden we get this video. And my point is they sounded young on that video.
so there were some probably mixes in, a little bit, because what it sounds like to me from what I'm hearing in the community is people just started coming. When they started realizing that this was going on, it started in one spot on Oliver Street.
In a house or just
a hall.
At a hall.
There was a party.
Hall there, and there was a party. And so it spilled out of there. I keep hearing people use the term it got closed down. Then I keep hearing people say it was too hot inside. So they just spilled out into the street. And now there was already people on the street who were kind of doing their 4th of July thing. And then things just kind of increased. People just started showing up. And then it went from there.
Do you think that the girl who was killed, and in the video we see somebody walking past her saying she's dead, right? Do you think that she just happened to be at the party?
That's exactly what happened.
And she's there with the fireworks, and then she ended up being a victim.
Yeah.
That's what you're hearing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the story that I heard about her passing, man, is so heart-wrenching because she was out there having a good time. I won't go too far into detail. They started shooting. The question is whether she was shot before, because she was allegedly standing on the hood of her car dancing. They couldn't tell if she was, I don't know if she was shot before or after she got down off the hood of the car. But she was just out there trying to enjoy herself for the 4th of July, and it cost her life.
I mean, did she try and take cover, do you think? Or did this shooting just start happening so fast that you can't even take cover?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of them things where I think, and this is where we know we need some trainings and some things of this nature, because one of the worst things you can do when somebody starts shooting is literally run.
Really?
Because you're going to be in the line of fire. Depending on where they're shooting at, lay down. Stop what you're doing. Get on the ground.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
But your reaction is
It's
flight.
Yeah, fight or flight. Yep.
Yeah.
So, but, and I've been saying this, and like when I think about it, it's crazy to have to say this. But the blessing in that situation from Green Street is that we only had 8 shot and 1 die. Because it was like 250 kids out there, or young people out there.
Over 100-something rounds.
Yeah, 154, 156 rounds.
I think it was more than that.
Yeah, it absolutely was, because we went back and did a cleanup a couple of days after, and we found 5, 6 more shells at least. So I'm sure it's a bunch of shells that didn't get picked up. But when you listen to the guns that they were shooting, one of them guns had the capability of, harming 50, 60 people at a time. They shooting 40, 50 round clips now. So to know that with all of that was going on, that, like I said, the blessing in that situation is that we only had 8 people wounded and 1 died. It's still.
And do you think that's because they all knew to take cover?
No, I think that's because you got these false flaggers out here who pretending to be shooters, who just shooting in the air because somebody else shooting. And then you got that one person who's just risky and just, let me do this one time, and took that baby life. But I guarantee you that 85% of those shells went straight up in the air and came down.
Because I guess maybe inside somehow or other they know that it's what they're doing is dangerous.
They really don't want to be killers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They accidental killers. And it's crazy to say this, but even in the case of the Devin kid that you was just talking about.
Devin Stewart.
He ain't no killer. He shot that woman through the door. So he just shot. Probably not knowing if he was going to hit anything or not.
Who was there?
Or who, you know what I'm saying?
Well, but she said who's there.
Yeah.
And if you believe the person he was with, who has been sentenced to 30 years, correct me if I'm wrong, Mike,
35.
I think that's right.
William Britt Jr., he said that's an old lady, and he shot anyway.
Mm-hmm. But he wasn't intentionally trying to shoot that lady, because if that's the case, then you wait for her to open the door and you know what I'm saying? That, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not.
No, he said he was the great grandson was actually the target.
Yeah, but
Nice, huh?
You heard that woman's voice. What you shoot through the door for if the great grandson was the target? That means walk away.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And in our days when things like this, and once again, never condoning anything, but for me today, the difference is there is no honor and respect to the code of the streets. When I was growing up, when I was doing bad, when I was in the midst of all that stuff, and never been a shooter. I ain't never been no shooter, but it was still codes. And so it was like, you see, or you hear 80-some-year-old woman, well, you know it's an 80-year-old woman at the house. You don't even go to her house. You catch her grandson where you see him at. You know what I'm saying? Now, if that's coming out the house and walking down the steps, then you beat him up right there in front of the house. But you don't go do nothing to put that lady in danger. And these kids don't got they don't understand the code no more. And so I think that what we dealing with in Fort Wayne, and I don't want to misinterpret anybody or anything, there's some little killers around here. There's some little killers with no morals, no hearts, and no souls. But mostly what we dealing with right now, and Mike, you probably hear this all the time when y'all prosecuting these cases. I didn't mean to kill him. It was an accident. It was self-defense.
I was scared.
All the time.
I was scared. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All the time. But when you get them killers on the stand, and we can go back, let's go back to AP. Let's go back to Little Cheese. Let's go back, you know what I'm saying? Them real little shooters. They was real hitters.
No remorse.
No remorse.
Well, I think AP might have had some, but
He got some now, but
Yeah.
I don't think he had any.
well, we can go into how he was raised. But anyway, all right. So here we go. We've got this house on Green Street. What is Big Hearts Community, or whatever your new group is going to be called? What are you going to do?
So the idea is prevention. The idea is to intervene on the forefront. So, and I'm just going to give you some ideas of how we do that.
Okay.
I come from over there. So being over there is not a problem for me. Communicating and talking to these people is not a problem to me. So we're knocking on doors. Simple. Hey man, what's going on? Let me talk to you for a minute. And then you go from there. And then one of the biggest parts of it is building the groups that are going to be integral in putting together the circle. And so I introduce. Next phase may be something that I'm not good at doing. So I pass this person off to the next individual or the next organization or the next program that can offer them the resources and the help that they need, the guidance that they need. And then they may pass them off to somebody. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, we're all working together to try to walk this person through the next step of his life.
And what do you say to him?
You want me to tell you the truth, Mike?
Yeah.
Hey man, bring your little here. Let me talk to you for a minute. I'm gonna give you an example, brother. And when I get a chance, I'm gonna bring this person here. Well, I got a couple people. I'm gonna bring them in here for you to meet, sit down and talk to them.
Oh, I'm sure Michael,
Last year,
he can give him plenty of advice.
just before 4th of July, I'm sitting in my parents' yard, we drinking some beer, frying some fish, playing cards, just having a good time. I look up and I see this guy. He done backed his car up the street and he backed up into this kid that lives on the corner and backed up into their car. Well, this kid that live at the corner, this homeboy, they known shooters. They got guns on their hip with clips on them this long.
Oh dear.
He's so egotistical, the guy who just hit this man's car, he tried to pull off, but he see he can't get away. There's too many people out there, so he stopped. But he see them boys got them guns. He reaches in his car and pulls out an AR-15. But here go the thing. Ain't no clip in the gun. Ain't no bullet in the chamber. These kids don't know that though. So now they upping. And some just said, Rod, go over there. Don't let this happen. So I literally went across the street, stepped between them, grabbed the one kid and kind of pulled him towards the other kid. And it was like, look, man, I ain't out here to cause you no problems. He's like, you don't know me. You don't know me. Get your hands up. And I'm like, bro, I'm not finna sit out here and watch you go to prison for the rest of your life. And he stopped. And right now, this kid called me just about every day. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these kids.
How old is this kid?
Well, now he's not a kid. He's mid-20s.
That's a kid.
Yeah. But a lot of these young people are not killers. A lot of these young people are caught up in the culture, caught up in the circumstances, caught up in the community. And so I know me and Ty friends, you and Mike friends. Well, we know that Mike keep a pistol. We don't necessarily like Mike. Mike don't necessarily like us. We ain't got no beef, no legitimate beef. Y'all just from across the street. But we know Mike keep a pistol, so we go get a pistol. Mike ain't never said nothing to us about shooting nothing. But we go get a pistol just on the strength of that. And that's what we dealing with out here with our kids. In this community right here. People tell me, and I told you this, Mike, year or so ago when we met. I 100% believe when it pertains to our young people between the ages of about 14 and, I'm gonna minimize a little bit, about 24, I believe we can stop gun violence in our community. If, as a community, we come together, find this model of safe streets and CVI that formats to our city, I believe we could stop it in its entirety.
And so I've been working directly with the Baltimore team to set up a program that'll fit what Fort Wayne needs. And so right now we have a list of maybe 9 different programs, including our own Safe Streets model, to where Rod and his team will be out making these connections and these
Building
interventions. But we also have, we're going to start off just canvassing. Hey, what do you need? What are your needs? We'll have we have a food pantry, because a lot of the violence and the call to the streets, like he said, if we can do preventative work, then we can stop we can end up.
They're hungry.
They're hungry for a lot of things. Mm-hmm. And so we teach them how to feed themselves. We teach them how to we teach them skills or job training, and not the watered down. I'm not saying, and hear me when I mean this, like not the watered down skills training that they're teaching in the schools right now. We're talking about literally teaching people how to build stuff with their hands, teaching these kids how to patch walls in the housing and the drywall, and because their house may not be up to par for them. And we can teach them these skills to where now they can actually help out their mom who is working,
or their
on
grandma,
jobs, or these grandmas or aunties who are doing the raising. Well, we've been working directly with them to help set up some programs here. But like Rod just said, we can show everybody the model and the map, and let's work together and call everybody to the table. But we have to work together. We can't all do it.
And I think one of the biggest aspects of that, Mike, and that's why I'm so glad that you're here. Me and you have had some conversations about a couple of different situations that we've been working on for probably like the last year or so. One of the biggest, for me here in Fort Wayne, one of the biggest parts to the intervention aspect of it is going to be having an opportunity to have a relationship with you in your office, having an opportunity to have a relationship with the Fort Wayne Police Department, the gang task force, the homicide squad. Some of the things that I would like to see that we have kind of discussed would be when we get these homicide calls or these shooting calls.
You guys call us.
Let us hear from you so we can get a team on the scene that's going to be able to, okay, this child is laying out here on the ground, this family is hysterical, somebody that can relate with this family, intermingle with this family, get them in at least a calm state so that we can move to the next phase of the process.
De-escalation team.
Yeah.
Exactly. De-escalation.
So what team? De-escalation team. Is that what they have in Baltimore?
This would be more so as a crisis response team.
Crisis response.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And then we would bring them to de-escalation.
And so you're hoping that the Fort Wayne Police will actually accept what you're going to offer.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
because the thing about it is we're going to have to show Fort Wayne that this works. Mm-hmm. It's just that simple. And so me and Ty was just downstairs making a edit to me, and he said that instead of working from the top to the bottom, we're going to have to work from the bottom to the top. Yeah. So we're already in the streets. I'm in the streets. I can give you my phone and you can go through and you can find messages from mothers, messages from young men. I had a group of young men while we were in Baltimore, 8 young men, known vice lords in our city.
Vice lords?
Vice lords.
Okay.
Who called me as a group and said, hey man, we tired. What can we do to help? How can we be a part of this?
How old are these people?
We talking 25, 26, and those are younger ones who really questionable, but 25 through probably about, I think the oldest guy that I talked to is probably about 42 years old.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Uh-huh. Well, there's the format of my street team right there.
I was going to say, once you get this started, and I really do hope you do. I think it's, you worked in Baltimore.
Oh, yeah, we're definitely going
here, right?
Yeah.
Where are you going to find I don't know if to call them employees or street soldiers or?
Well, while we're out canvassing, we will also be talking to people that want to volunteer, that want to be a part of it.
I got my team in mind already.
And that's the thing. I believe the people in Baltimore are paid.
Yeah.
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 Yes.
Yeah. And that's why the funding is so important. Like the thing about it is this has to be a full-time job, especially the aspect of it, the role that the violence interrupters are going to play in it. It has to be a job. Like I can't be at Dana on the clock and little Johnny them out here shooting and we need somebody to intervene and I got to wait till 3:30 to clock out and then try to go figure out the situation. I mean, so this needs to be a job. And so one of the things that we're hoping to do is when we start this funding drive, when we start having these meetings with these different philanthropists throughout the city, that we get them to understand that we are trying to build people who can focus on what we're trying to do 24 hours or 7 days a week. They have 2 shifts out there. I think they work a
Morning and an evening.
Yeah, a morning and an evening shift.
When does the evening shift stop, though?
I think they stop at midnight. I think they work 4 to 12. But keep in mind, this is after they put in all the work and got people, like one of the things that Baltimore has done, they've developed violence intervention. They developed nonviolence into a culture, specifically in Cherry Hill. Everybody in Cherry Hill is invested. Everybody is invested out there. And so it's become a culture now. So people know that, hey, I see Lil John them out there on the corner. They look like they on some stuff. They know to call one of the violence interrupters, and you know them people.
And do those kids know that term, violence interrupters?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We had a moment while we was out there where we went outside and walked, and there was a group of young men that was sitting out on the street. And initially, I had my camera up. Tom was there. He had his camera up. So they took off. The lady who was with us, Miss
Tammy.
Turn them cameras off. As soon as we turn the cameras off, they come back and they just flocked them. They took the
And
key.
she yelled. She was like, wait, they all right, it's all right. But they respected her voice. Just told her, just off her saying, wait, they just want to talk to y'all. They, off her saying that, they came back to see at least what we were going to say. Oh yeah, I'm a talker. I get to talking to the community. But yeah.
But no matter where we go, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
These young people need better education, need help at home, financially, food, mental health.
That's where you come in, the food.
Oh, well, it's a lot of parts because we all play a different part. But mental health, you have to think about it as a whole wraparound service, right? And then not just from the grassroots, we have to work with, like Mr. Alexander and working about sentencing, prevention programs, to reduce recidivism, getting data that, could be reflective to one area and see why this area is doing it, or why these young men are being sentenced more, or it's all a package. It's just not one piece. It's just not going to be the street team or the interrupters. It's not going to be just that. It's going to be a whole wraparound of services that we're going to need our community to work together, because violence isn't just in our neighborhoods. It's in our schools. It's at our workplaces. It's everything. So we have to be more adamant at building those connections that we can provide more services. Now we're thinking more preventative and then when you start thinking about the dollars, right?
Yeah.
We all know about, school to prison pipeline, right? That's costing our communities across the country billions of dollars. Well, we also know about privatization of the prisons. We also know that's a good industry.
We also know, as Mike brought up a couple weeks ago, that to an inmate in Indiana prison, that costs about $60,000 a year.
Mm-hmm. Well, a youth in Fort Wayne, we have the statistics, costs anywhere from $550 to $650 a day, right? Because education, meal.
Is this at ACJC?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So imagine.
That's the Allen County Juvenile Center, I should say.
So our goal is to we've created programs that we're going to be able to help individuals in their city and rural areas. Just on 100 youth in the inner city through our programming, we can save the city $5.7 million a year.
So who's going to buy into this, though? Who do you have to convince?
You.
Right.
Are you going to bring anybody from Baltimore here?
Yes.
We're working to schedule some trainings. We just need to line up some funding. So the idea, and I'm just going to be blunt with you, the idea is to find some seed money. We're going to need a little time to coordinate some things, get some of these people trained, get some
Find a building.
and find some locations.
What's that going to cost you, think?
$675,000. is for the seed.
Initial
fee.
Are there federal grants for this?
Of course. Somewhere.
Of course.
Yep.
Department of Education, Department of Defense.
Still?
Of course. But we have to take the DE, unfortunately, we have to take the DE out of it.
Take the DEI out of it.
And show them the merit, and show them the money. If this administration is talking about merit and money, let's show them the merit and the money. We can show them that preventative will save the dollars rather than utilizing it to keep them in the system.
So you need a talented.
And just like he said, it costs
5.75 million we could save
that we could save.
every year.
We can operate. We've got our numbers down to $2.94 million first year operating, and that's every program fully staffed and operating all the way out.
But
It's going to be difficult, you guys.
We know
Of course.
this has all been difficult.
Well, I mean,
life is difficult. You
This
know
has
what I mean?
been
Like,
difficult.
Amy, we've been around each other. I've been
Yeah.
fighting this for years. You know what I mean? The thing about it is, at some point in time, people have to dig into their self, dig into their humanity, and find out if the cause
It's worth it.
is worth it.
come on.
You know what I mean? You got to dig inside and you got to say, hey, these kids.
Has Baltimore, I think you mentioned something about going to Houston and another city.
Yeah.
Have they followed the Baltimore model?
A lot of cities across the
Yes.
country follow the Baltimore.
Okay. And how do they
Minnesota.
convince their city councils and their mayors and everybody to go along with this and fund and come up with
Because
this?
their mayors and city council, once they talk to them and speak to them and show them that the need for it, then they bought in. Like, okay, yeah, it's worth it to us, and that is the part that we really need Fort Wayne to buy in on. Is that each city that we're going to get these training stuff, they have the backing of the city. They have the backing of the prosecution.
Okay, Baltimore the city council or the city put in $2.9 million.
Yeah, but-
you know darn well that's not enough to cover the entire.
But then the state invested, and then
Yeah, I'm finna say
organizations that-
everybody. Yeah,
charities. What's some of the other charities?
Yeah, I mean, just think about an entirety of group just working on one solution, right? And what they all do is they get funding for that one solution, right? That one problem.
money just cycles.
It cycles. It cycles back to that. Because if you have everybody concentrating on gun violence, right? I mean, hey, do your part towards gun violence. And if you get 100,000, you get 100,000. I mean, that's easier than us going and asking for $1 million.
yeah.
So here's the thing, Jamie, and there's so many different aspects of what's happening in Baltimore, and so you have the safe streets. Well, let's start at the top. You have Maumee. Then you have safe streets.
That's the mayor's office.
Yes, that's the mayor's office.
Right.
Then you have safe streets. Then you have
Is
hospital.
Safe Streets a completely different organization that is it?
But it's a division of Maumee.
The mayor.
Okay, so we're still talking about the city of Baltimore.
Yeah. Then you have the hospital response team, which is basically violence interrupters inside the hospital. So you get shot,
Wow.
you survive, they get you in a bed, they get you stable, you can talk now. They come to your bedside and they walking with you
Through the process.
connecting you with
Doctors and nurses?
No, these are violence interrupt me.
Oh, okay.
Coming in the hospital saying, hey, look, okay, we can't talk to him right now, so I'm gonna go talk to the family. You know, what are you gonna need to help you get through this? Where, you know what I'm saying?
they know what
What's your
mental health
insurance situation?
Yeah.
Do you have any kind of medical insurance? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
And all the way down through there, and they walk them people through there. And the crazy part about it is, this story is gonna be a little hard to follow. So the gentleman who was our guide while we was in Baltimore, his name is Troy Bradley. On the streets, they call him Buzz. Buzz comes from a family, the Bradley family, who grew up in Cherry Hill, one of the 5 families in Cherry Hill who were just known for, street life.
Historical crime family.
So
Yeah.
Buzz got shot by a guy. Time go by, Buzz catch this guy coming out the liquor store. Buzz pulled his pistol on him. The dude was like, man, you got me. Buzz was like, man, but you ain't spare me like I'm finna spare you. He said, but the only way I can spare you is if you agree that we squash this right now and leave this behind. You talking about a 20, 30-year war between these families. So they squashed the beef. Buzz brought the guy who shot him on to work next to him as a violence interrupter.
Oh, good.
They did that for a while, but then this guy has some other stuff going on. He ended up getting killed a couple weeks after this. Passed the ball. We sitting in the hospital, and what was the name of the hospital?
Star.
MedStar Hospital. There's this
Sounds
gentleman.
like a corporate logo to me.
There's this gentleman that's sitting there
MedStar.
talking to us, and he
Okay,
got
go
these
ahead, sorry.
3 knots on his neck. And I'm looking, but his story is, you know what I mean, real invigorating. He talking about him getting shot, stuff like that. Well, come to find out, he's the brother of the guy who shot Buzz, that Buzz bought into Violence Interrupters. You know what I mean? Like, this is going to have to be a thing where you get some of the notorious people in the streets. And there's a lot of them out here. It's a lot of people out here in these streets that years ago, like I can look at Mike and say Townsend, you know what I mean? Say Church, and some of them that still made some changes in their life, and they could be vital in making the changes in our community.
How do you vet these people in order to get them hired?
You make sure that they don't have no sexual offenses, and then you hire them.
Then we train them.
Their
We have
records.
in-house training.
Yeah, absolutely. But we want the people who've been some of the worst in the community.
Because they
Have since
understand.
exhibited change.
I was going to say, and you just answered my question, where do you find these people? What kind of compensation do they get? What can you offer?
I mean, we hope
Go back 20 years and look for the people who did the robberies that are still alive.
I mean, it's probably true.
Oh, absolutely.
But
And
that
I'm
creates
sure
a
you
big
all
problem
have a-
for, public entities to hire convicted felons, guys with violent pasts.
But now they have viable income, and they're not. That reduces the recidivism rate automatically right there.
But what he's
Sorry,
saying,
but that's why you have organizations like
Right.
us to be the step in between.
I know that was kind of the issue
Yeah.
with the 10-point coalition.
Exactly.
You want people that have street cred, but as
Place
a
is
public
a little
employer, you're always worried about hiring
It was a public
somebody
entity.
I would
that's
say
going to go out and do something bad.
Right.
and that's why we have to have a relationship and work in in a collaborative effort. But we can't be attached to the prosecuting attorney's office. The prosecuting attorney's office can't be attached to Big Hearts.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And because in order for this to work,
But who can you be attached to?
I got to
Why
be
we can't
attached
be
to the streets.
Yeah, why we can't be attached to our own? Why can't we be our own entity? You guys just work with us. Why do we have to be attached to you?
Well, no, I'm
in
not
order-
saying you that, but wouldn't you have to, like you say, you want some money from the city?
Okay.
So you might be semi-attached to the city, or
Well, I mean, unfortunately, the streets doesn't agree or trust pretty much the city, the prosecutor's office, the police.
Yeah, but
Okay. So what
makes sense.
we have to do is we have to isolate ourselves, but also work with everyone else. I mean, you have to build the trust and confidence of your community with people from this community first and foremost. One leg in, one leg out, like completely changed. That's how we can vet them. Make sure that they're completely changed and out of the way, so they can create a better positive change.
so
You're kind of looking at the model that the city seems to be doing with the low barrier homeless shelter, where they've kind of enlisted a lot of the foundations and people to help create this not-for-profit.
yes.
And then that not-for-profit will seek out funding, maybe get some from the city. I'm guessing that's part of it, both either in land acquisition or for operating expenses.
That's it.
But then the not-for-profit then is the legal entity that hires
Well,
the
that would make
violence interrupters.
In our organizations, we have 3 non-for-profits that do 3 different things. So we have a not-for-profit, but we also have the LLC part of it. So we would be seeking organizations to partner with us as we process everything and then everybody works together, but they still have to. We need still people to do your own thing. Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
separate.
Like
So
separate, but
everybody
It's hard to
still be in
keep
their
it organized
silos.
sometimes.
Yeah. Everybody
Like,
still
for
be in their
instance,
silos, but
if I'm bedside and people need help, then I can refer them to Courageous Healing.
And what you've referenced programs.
Mm-hmm.
Am I kind of right in anticipating that you're talking about basic things that make a neighborhood a caring neighborhood for everybody who lives there.
When you say basic, what do you mean? Oh yeah, like it's
Like
a great neighborhood.
The
for
86-year-old grandma,
Yeah,
she needs help mowing the lawn.
Somebody's coming.
Get one of the
They
kids.
you call Big Hearts, and I'm gonna send somebody out there to go cut her grass.
Or you could partner with NeighborLink, who's
Or Neighbor Link.
on.
Yep, there we go.
Exactly.
See, there we go.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And we will find that's why we're trying to call everybody to the table,
Right.
so that we can know about Neighbor Link, and because a lot of people don't even know about that, and so that we can know, say, oh, okay, you do this. Okay, you do this. Oh, great. So if I got somebody for this, let's call you over here and let y'all take care of that because this is y'all expertise.
Right.
And then we can call these people over here for this. And oh, okay, could you come help us do this? We got these people who need these resources. So we want to work with everybody.
We have to work with everybody. It's not even one.
Well, let me go over some of the groups we have.
So what that does is it helps layer the funding, right? It helps layer and helps provide more resources to our community.
Yeah.
Where we aren't necessarily doing everything, but the part we were talking about earlier about the children saving the money for the children as well. Just imagine that in every field.
Yes.
Right. Preventative in every field is going to help our community and save dollars that we can combine and use.
I mean, if they're doing it in Baltimore, I don't see why we can't do it here. But we do have groups. I want to go over the groups that we already have who get it. We have Building Kings Mentoring Group.
Which would be excellent for what we're trying to do. Because
Yeah.
we need somewhere to send these young men to. Everything, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Everything, every name that you're about to read off that list, in order for this to work, they all have to be included.
Yep.
For sure.
And everybody has to understand that there's no, so
Competition.
get back to what you was kind of saying a little bit earlier, Mike. What we have to build is we have to build our version of Monzi, the mayor's office, neighborhood safety engagement. We have to build that. And then so look at that as the umbrella. And then look at human agricultural, look at the Being Happy and Well, look at Big Hearts Community Projects, look at the Prosecuting Attorney's Office, look at the Fort Wayne Police
Neighborhood
Department.
Link.
Everybody's under here, under the umbrella. So the funding comes through Monzi because Monzi covers, it's a neighborhood safety and engagement. So they're taking the national health crisis aspect of it, and they're getting the federal funding, they're getting the state funding, and they're getting the city funding. And then that doesn't even include the outside funding they're getting from philanthropy.
It's like Maryland is an entirely different type of state.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, that worries me.
That's
Here we go.
what
So we have Building Kings Mentoring Group, and they do get kids together, and they bring in people like Austin Knox, who is the Wayne Township trustee. They bring in Sharon Tucker, who's the mayor. Who else did I see in there? I'm not sure what his first name is. He's with the counseling group. Courageous Healing.
Aaron Lane.
Aaron Lane, yeah. Then we have Angelo Monte and the Alive community, and he has somebody in every high school. They have programs there, and I think they're fairly well funded. Then we have guidance counselors and teachers and principals. It's sometimes like Fort Wayne Community Schools. Are they going to let those people directly talk to you? I mean, when I was the education reporter, they were, very difficult to get anybody to talk.
We start with the administration. And so I think one of the things that gives us a leg up on dealing with Fort Wayne Community Schools is the fact that just a few weeks ago, we had the youth forum, and we had the head, what's his name? The superintendent of Fort Wayne Community Schools. I ain't never seen that man nowhere before.
Mark Daniel.
But he came out there and he was very, very impressed. And so I gave him a business card, and I told him I would like to sit and talk to him. He was like, absolutely. And so, and I talked to you about this, Mike, earlier when we met. One of the things that I've been working on, Jamie, is setting up relationships with all these different organizations. You go to the jail, Sheriff Hirschberger know me. You go over here to the county building, Ron Turpin know me. I done met with Mr. McAlexander.
Who's a commissioner.
We have to see who he is. City Council know me. Fort Wayne Police Department know me. You know what I'm saying? And so now, this is where, what they say, the rubber meets the road. I'm not saying that we all need to be connected cohesively like this. I'm saying everybody got their position to play. And so when I call you and say, hey, I got this young person who is A, B, C, D, I can't necessarily meet his needs. Can you help me? Oh yeah, I'm on my way. Or bring him over here, you know what I'm saying? Or if I call Mr. McAlexander and say, hey man, I got this young man, this is his first time getting in trouble. He's, follower. Let's try to take a different approach with his sentencing. Instead of sending him to prison right now, let's try to take a different approach with his sentence.
Well, also you need to talk to Judge Brent Eckenbarger, who's very open, who's going to have a problem solving.
I'm waiting on the email to set the meeting up now.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Already been in the meeting with Judge Lori Morgan, already met with Frank Gold.
Excellent.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
the foundation is laid. So now it's all about whether or not the city of Fort Wayne as a whole, no matter what your position is, what your job is, what your title is, if the city of Fort Wayne as a whole really wants to see that this violence and this nonsense come to an end in our community, then it's time to do the work. Period.
So, and then we have Boys and Girls Club. I hadn't finished my, headed up by Joe Jordan. He's been there for a long time. And he might not be an interventionist per se, but I think the great thing about the Boys and Girls Clubs, and they're all over the place. I mean, they had them where I lived in New Jersey and New York and everywhere else, is that they do provide a place for kids to go.
Yeah.
And I do believe that they offer food as well.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Boys and Girls Club are huge. Like I said,
yeah.
every aspect in this community that's wanting to work to change the narrative of gun violence in our community, no matter what their role is, everybody is equally as important in this CVI concept. It's just that simple. Everybody.
It's simple, but
let me go back a little bit, back to when you intervene and talk to somebody. How do you take a 16-year-old, a 20-year-old that is under a lot of peer pressure for that this is what he sees, these are the people that he identifies with,
idolize,
and they're doing bad things, but he wants to be part of that.
Mm-hmm.
But as you put it, he's not necessarily stone cold killer. He's more a kid looking for acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
How do you break into that as
possibly lonely?
So here's the thing, and this is why the funding is so important, because what we have to do is, and you kind of got to apply it to, I'm a recovering addict, so I get a lot of fulfillment making applications to certain things. You kind of got to apply it to that people, places, and things motto of sobriety. You know what I mean? We got to change what this man is used to, period. And it takes money to do that. Some of the time, some of the things that I do is when all of these other little events going on around the city, I go get 2 or 3 of these kids. Just let them hang out with me. Take them out to the park for one of the picnics or one of the cookouts, or, you know what I'm saying? Just take them somewhere and show them something different, constructive that they never did. I had this kid who got caught with a gun earlier this year. He on probation right now. Joe Ayers called me and asked me if I could come help him set up. You know, Joe Ayers gives away clothes and free food and stuff like that.
For a long time he has.
Yeah, so I went and picked this kid up and took him out there. We was right in Eden Green. I ain't take him nowhere too far outside of his. He went over there and you should have seen him working because he felt important. He felt like he was needed.
I love it.
He felt like he was doing something. Yeah. So when we in the car on the way back home, he was like, I ain't never did nothing like that before. I love it.
How old was this?
16.
Oh.
Live in McCormick Park. But, you know, I live paycheck to paycheck. You know what I mean? I'm scribbling and scrambling to stay alive myself, but I will do that for the rest of my life if I have to help one kid, because I might have just saved that kid from going to prison or being dead.
Absolutely.
That's like taking them to meet somebody like.
I mean, Indiana should listen to this, because when Mike said that it was like $58,000 or so to house an inmate for an entire year, we got to apply that to some economics. You know, we don't need to go to Michael Hicks, the economist at Ball State University, to see how practical it is. To hire a violence interrupter is probably not going to get $58,000, you know, to do this kind of work. But it's like,
but you got so many people
different
out
than
here
Maryland.
that really want to help. You know what I'm saying? But people, you know what I mean? Like,
they just have to be reassured it's going to work.
Yeah, well, not even that. I'm talking about people from the violence interrupter aspect. The thing about it is people have lives and they have to maintain their livelihood. So, you know, everybody really out here struggling right now. Like I said, people living paycheck to paycheck. So
yeah, it's like, what are you going to say to a 24-year-old who's living the gang life, still living the gang life? He's probably making, I don't want to cast aspersions, but probably does a little dealing with drugs just to make ends meet. How do you convince him? This was in the Roca. Did you meet people with Roca in Baltimore?
We talked about Rogan.
it.
We didn't get a chance to.
That might be a different
Yeah.
catchment area.
Yeah.
Anyway, they go out in the streets. They find the kid at the street corner who's selling drugs. I don't know that we have that kind of activity in Fort Wayne. I think it's more like pull up your car, and
But we
do the
have to
drug
take
deals.
we have to take the funding that we're getting. If we're gonna when we get funding, I'm speaking everything into existence. We have to take the funding that we're getting and we have to find those little branches. Like I said, I would like to inevitably sit down with some of these funders, potential funders, and show them like this is where we can put this money. This is where we can put this money. This is where we can put this money. This is how this is gonna work. Excuse my language, I'm sorry. This is how it's gonna work and this is why it's gonna work. And then, a lot of it is gonna have to be based on trust. And when I say trust, what I mean is you gotta trust that the people that we bring to this program, because once we say, hey, we looking to hire X amount of people, man, when I tell you people finna come out the woodwork, when I tell you they finna jump out the woodwork,
Tiring.
So what he's
That's
saying,
great.
what he's saying, pretty much all as well is we have to have we have a short-term plan and a long-term plan, not only for our organization but for each individual. Because when you start looking at individuals trying to change, you have to have wraparound services. So we're going to be talking about mental health. We're going to be talking about vocational training, so we can get them jobs later on. The whole program.
Who are you going to talk to about vocational training?
Well, for example, we have Joe Jordan, we have Anthus Career Center, and our organization, Human Agriculture Cooperative, has our own vocational training program with farming, basic electric, basic plumbing, basic.
No kidding. I didn't know you were that big.
so you don't recreate the wheel, you just add a couple spokes to it. You know what I'm saying? Why would we go back and try to build a whole nother vocational training facility when they got a fully functional one over there?
And this is great, but they can't take everybody that you.
No, but they also built the Kelly with the Boys and Girls Club.
But then the last part of it is housing, right? Me and T and we've been working on is housing. So the whole thing.
What do you mean housing?
I'll tell you. Okay, so you have an inner city project and outer city project, and in either one of them, right? We were talking about environment earlier, right? I'll use this, scenario. Just basically, if you have a lion, right, in the jungle, if you take that lion out of the jungle, it's going to be a different beast, right? Right? But with these young people, these killers, right, if we have to remove them from the environment sometimes, not with jail. Maybe like a Job Corps or some kind of rehab facility or some kind of vocational training facility where they can go and detach themselves from the violence, from the poverty,
But they still have to go back to that home at night.
No, we're talking about an entirely isolated facility where they can live.
Oh, wow.
Also, in our
I like that.
in our 1 year plan, we want to get a lot of the vacant homes that are available right now, because a lot of times people they lost everything. They just got evicted. Like everybody can't afford rent right now. So we have when we were in Baltimore, we had a young lady that reached out who needed somewhere to go immediately. And if we have these homes, we can send her to one of the homes where her and her kids are safe until we can get over there and reach out to her. We have case managers who are sticking with this lady to help her find employment, to help her find.
How do you get a hold of those homes?
Funding.
Go over there.
Funding.
And
land bank,
being out here in the
land
community.
bank.
I mean, Robinson thought he found one.
And one of the things that, again, about working together is that we have people already in place. We want to work with the realtor companies to say, oh yeah, well these houses might need a little work, but if y'all want to work on them, we can sell them to y'all for cheap because we have funding to be able to buy a couple houses.
And you have kids who are learning how to work on them.
I got women who are also learning how to work on them too.
Wow, that's nice.
So we have through each of our organizations, we have partnerships with the community. We have partnership with these people know us. We from the streets of Fort Wayne, specifically the streets that we're talking about. And so they know who we are. They know what we're talking about. That already amongst itself, and then seeing us all together, we are hearing from the community, this is so powerful. I can't wait to see what you guys are going to do. We already have trust pockets built in. So a lot, like Rod just said, the foundation, we've laid it already.
Sure.
So now it's up to we're doing, and as y'all see, people want to say, oh, well, how do we know this work? We pay for ourselves to get to Baltimore. We got some sponsorships, no lie. And thank you for everybody who donated.
Good.
But we literally are taking these trips on ourselves and learning. Y'all want numbers? Look at the data from these places where we're going to get these trainings from.
Yeah.
We are learning from major organizations who have reduced violence in major cities. And if that's not proof enough,
So you as a group, what's the next step? I mean, I'm getting excited talking to
Well,
you.
the next step is, because Quentin was supposed to be here, and he told me that there's supposed to be a meeting at some point between myself, you, Mr. Bean, and Chuck Surratt. And so that's the next step, so we can at least lay the foundation, get these guys to trust us, see if they'll give us the seed money, look at our plan, see if they'll give us the seed money. The only thing about this for me, Mike, and you can relay this message if you want to, the biggest thing for me is this, man. I want people that are coming to the table that are willing to collaborate. The one thing that I don't want to do is I don't want this work that we're putting in, that we've been putting in, the relationships that we've built in the community to get smothered under, and I'm just going to leave it like that. Because I
Red
feel
tape.
like, not even red tape. I ain't worried about the red tape part of it. I'm worried about our city has a history of
Program appropriation.
misappropriation.
Do what?
No, program appropriation.
take it.
Basically, I mean, there's a lot of programs that have been started in this community, and
By a
unfortunately,
grassroots
there's other organizations that'll basically take a form of it, get all the funding, and then basically kick out the people who are actually doing the work.
So, I mean, probably.
Also called silos.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I feel like this, Jamie. I'm gonna say this and I might get kicked in my knee by T, so I'm gonna scoot over. But I'm gonna say this to you. I feel as if my history of doing this work in our community speaks for itself now. I'm confident enough to look you in your face and say that I feel that I've proven my sincerity and my dedication to being different and better in my community. Like I said, I tell Mr. McAlexander all the time, I can remember looking at your name at the bottom of when I got my sentencing paperwork, you know what I mean? And now I'm sitting across the table from you, you know, talking about ways that we can work together.
That's
And
so
so it's
positive.
huge. But I feel that we are at a pivotal point in our community, and this is never to be disrespectful to anybody, because there are a lot of people in our community who have done a lot of work for a lot of years.
For sure.
But there's and I don't even want to say it necessarily has to be a passing of the torch, but you at least got to let me hold the torch with you.
Sure. Let us walk alongside of you.
Period.
Not competition.
Yeah, it's
know?
time for us because we got to put the greater good in the forefront of everything. So
All right, so if you got the seed money, what would be the first thing you do?
When we get to see.
Looking for the building. We're starting assessments even before seed money.
So would that building be in the heart of,
Absolutely.
yeah, we ain't coming out. We
Oh, yeah.
could it be like a little house that's been shot up 50 times?
Yep, I'll take it.
All right.
No,
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm gonna turn it in.
I'm with you.
I'm gonna turn it into something, and if I have to start there, I will. But no, we really want to, because we want to be able to provide a pantry. We want to be able to provide a safe space. A home that was shot up 50 times, of course, doesn't feel safe.
We want to be accessible to the community that
Yes.
we're trying to serve. And when
Yes.
you look at the numbers, because the one thing that I want to say while we're on here, because I know who gonna see this and who not, this is not about separation. So just because we're talking 46806, 46803 don't mean that there can't be any people that are white, that are Burmese, that are Latino, that
Or
can be a part of it.
46835.
Right.
Like,
You know what I
come on.
mean? This,
And you know, that's the good thing, is because you're talking mostly about black kids with guns.
Yeah.
And what you have to do is work like here, Mike and I are sitting here like white people. You have to convince all of the white people.
Yeah.
Don't be so judgmental. There's
Yeah.
a lot of things that go in. Let's ignore that and let's get working on these.
Especially when you guys are tired of the violence in the black community too. So let us fix it. Let's get together and let us, who are, again, because you're not from our community,
That's right.
So you can help and be concerned and be empathetic, which is what I teach people is a difference between sympathy and empathy. You can be as empathetic as possible, but until you have been in these shoes with these kids being locked up over and over again, you don't really understand.
Mike, I just want you to think about it like this, brother. An adage, and I've been using this. Since I heard it, it just reverberates over and over again in my head.
Brother.
They use a disease to cure a disease. So the only way we're going to be able to cure what's going on over there in 46806 and 803 is if you're from the 06 and 03. You know what I mean? You got to understand the culture. You got to understand the livelihood. You got to understand how to walk, talk, and move in that area. You know what I mean?
And let's not forget, 46806, I once did a huge article on that. It's 25% white, 25% Hispanic, 50% black.
So why feel left out? We are talking about you too.
Yeah, that's like, and this is the thing that I think a lot of people get mixed up. So we have community in general, which includes all of us. We're community. But then you have the black community, the Latino community, the Burmese community. And so there are some things that happen in each one of these individual communities that can only be addressed by people from that community.
Come on.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with that.
Yeah. And so when you look at the numbers, how many homicides we had this year?
In Fort Wayne, 21 now, because we just had the little boy.
And how many
more black?
12, yes.
12.
How many in those
5
area
were
codes?
white.
Yeah.
Zip codes, hold on, because they did have those too, and I don't know if I put it down here.
But that ain't even, my point is this. Out of 21, 12 of them are black. That's more than half.
And
I don't know what the age
black
was.
population in the city of Fort Wayne is 17%, I believe.
Oh, is it?
Wow. So
we need the majority to assist us.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's talking about the black eye or whatever you want to call the South Side. Well, you know, pull up your bootstraps and come help us.
But I do feel like Tom Henry and Sharon Tucker has kind of continued it, and I hope anybody who's mayor does continue. You know, you have that grocery store now. You have streets that are being paved. You've got Jerry Starks who's building those homes down there. There have been some things done. People aren't completely ignoring it. There's a really nice Starbucks that I've been to. What if you keep on going on North Anthony, maybe?
Right down by Walmart, the Walmart.
Yeah, really nice Starbucks. I mean, those are the signs, and we got to keep.
Yeah, but go within them blocks. Go within Lafayette.
No, I'm concerned.
Pontiac. No, go within Lafayette, Creighton, Anthony, and
Green and Oliver.
Is Hessen, not Hessen Castle, but
Hessen Castle.
Pettit. Stay within those 4 blocks. I mean, not those 4 streets, and come down into the middle of that, and you ain't gonna find no really nice Starbucks. You ain't gonna find none of Jerry Stark's homes. You ain't gonna find, you know what I'm saying? None of that happens.
No, everybody wants that to happen, and what I've been concerned about, because I have been in quite a few of those homes, probably more than any white reporter walking around this town. All right. I was just telling Brock about it. I used to go to the shootings whenever they happen, right?
Sure.
And inside those homes, I used to get very concerned about the state. I mean, my father was a home builder, all right? About the shape of it, how old the plumbing is, how old the electricity is, how,
Quality of life, of course. But
Yeah.
but unfortunately, the broken window theory doesn't really work. If you try to just beautify the community without reaching the core of the problem.
I'm not talking about beautifying. I'm
you
making those homes safe.
Yes.
I understand. I understand that, but I mean,
It's the people that live in them.
For instance.
Yeah, we want to work inside the home. We understand the infrastructure. We understand the broken homes, broken windows theories. We understand that, our city wants to invest in that. But we need to work on the roots of the problem.
Well, yeah, you do.
Those are
but I
circumstances.
think that's an important.
I also think that's an important thing too, especially when it comes.
No, I didn't say it was important. I just
Especially when
said
it comes to housing and resources. People who live in houses that the roof leaks, to look for the streets.
And this little girl that I know who's striving so hard,
Yeah.
and I've got a story coming out of her, maybe, I don't know when, she had just a terrible upbringing in South Bend. And I was inside her home. Well, there was supposedly a door that she put a curtain in front of. It led right to the kitchen. The kitchen wiring was bad. And by the way, that was owned by a local landlord
Yeah.
who refused to fix it up.
But anyway.
Yeah, I know.
So we have to be better about going into those homes with our case managers and knowing what needs to be done. And the city that's again the city working with us to say, hey, I got this person at XYZ, they're on the high risk list. What's going on with this landlord? Why do I keep having houses
I love
with
that.
this landlord?
Because that violence interrupting or whatever the case may be doesn't necessarily deal with the issues that are causing violence in our community. Like I said, I get so many different, between the three of us, I get so many different calls of assistance, people needing somewhere to stay, people need
Right now.
food, people who need money to buy a tire for their car so they can
Yes,
back and forth to work.
absolutely.
People who need Pampers and stuff, you know what I'm saying? And so that's what this is right here. Between the three of us, you got a man who done fed over 5 million people in the last how many years?
5.
You got a woman who does everything for everybody that she possibly can, and then she still tries to make sure that people's mental health is good. And then myself and the work that I put in the community, like
You're the one that'll go straight in front of the gun. We know that.
yeah, I'm going to them right now. Like we got to stop.
Once you do that, you've got to give them a purpose.
Come on, we got to find somewhere else to take it. So
Yeah.
and that's where we need. And I hate to minimize things, y'all. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
But that's where we need the help at, Mike. I need somebody that says, okay, well, Roderick does a good job.
Let's go back on the record. I want to talk about one more thing because we're running out of time. Guns. Where are they getting them? What can we do about these guns? They have, what was it called, Brock? Machine gun units,
Well,
where they
got the switches, lock
stuff like that.
So we got to be honest with ourselves. Between the ages of 14 and 17, you can't go buy a gun. You can't own a gun legally. So with this new law where as long as you can buy a gun legally, you can carry a gun. So what's happening is you're getting a lot of these adults, these dope fiends that ain't got no criminal records that's going in these stores, buying these guns, handing them to these kids, and then calling the police and saying, hey, my gun got stolen. If you do it, I don't know if you've had
But why do they, they're selling it, so they're
the straw purchases.
raw purchase.
Or they have the girlfriends that have clean records go buy the gun.
Yeah.
Or we have ghost guns.
Right. And then you can, you can print that 3D print
That's the
guns
most
as well.
Chris Felton, who's a sergeant with the gang unit, told us that they talked to the libraries because that was happening.
Yeah.
And they put a stop to that a couple of
that's
years
good.
ago. Yeah.
Because I witnessed it. And I was like, no way.
What did it look like? Did it look like a real gun?
Yeah. Like I watched it being printed at a library.
You the man.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
And then there's a lot of gun makers out here that are buying parts from online, creating their guns
there it is.
right in their own homes.
Yes.
So what do we do about those people? Do we
So some of them
can we
people,
do a tattletale and get them?
They're also buying the AR pistols that they can put a big clip on.
I think we just figure out a way to because people gonna buy guns. Like I'm a gun enthusiast. I personally have 13 guns myself.
Do you have an AK?
I do.
oh my God, you're dangerous.
I've been a gun enthusiast my whole life. I learned how to hunt when I was 8 by my grandfather. He's from Kentucky, and hunting was a big thing in Kentucky. So I've been a gun enthusiast pretty much my whole life. I've always loved guns. So I don't think gun ownership is the problem. We can look at other guns, other countries, other areas where they actually, owning a gun is fine. It's teaching people. It's education. It's making people, you change the environment, you change people's lives. You make people think about things differently, start to value other people's lives. Owning a gun doesn't mean anything.
My wife.
Yeah, but they do say a lot of these people, they have a gun because they feel like they need protection.
And again, you change the environment so they don't feel that fear, and then it's just a gun. A lot of kids won't even think about guns if they got something else to think about.
Because when we was in Cherry Hill, like if you just go back and read about Cherry Hill, it'll make you nervous. But when we was out there and we was in the middle of the hood,
And you'll see on Thursday.
I didn't hesitate at all.
We were
There
just
was
out
no
there.
nervousness. I didn't feel, you know what I'm saying? Like you can feel the vibe. So to go along with what T was saying, like once you change a person's environment and their mind state, then you start changing like the curve for
Action, reactions.
And so, but I think another thing that's happening with these guns, well, I was actually gonna say this, Mike. If you get a chance or get somebody that you can do it, have them go back and look at the number of car break-ins in Fort Wayne, specifically in those 2 zip codes, in just the last 2 years. Super increasing. But
Don't
how
leave
many
your gun
people-
in the car.
Who
please.
does that? Like if this is your only gun.
I don't think T does.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you leave your gun in your car anyway?
I've had to learn, but as a woman who travels a lot, especially alone, I carry a lot. So there's been times that I've had to leave my gun in my car. Especially if I'm coming in here, I would have had to leave it in the car to come inside the building.
But when you go home at night, do you leave it in your car?
Oh, absolutely not.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
But everybody
And your car unlocked.
Okay, so but hear me though. Everybody don't have the same situation and circumstance that I do. So that just because I am educated enough and gun aware to know, okay, let me grab my gun and take it in the house, that doesn't mean people are there yet. So that's where I'm telling you, education, programs, all that stuff
I
comes
submitted a plan a couple weeks ago.
All that
I'm
stuff.
waiting to hear back from them, but I submitted a plan to 401 community schools. These kids got guns. It
Let's
ain't
talk to
if
them
they
about
got guns or when they get guns. It's they got guns. So why wouldn't we figure some kind of way to set up some type of training at the very least so that we know they operating these guns safely?
Now, are they getting them inside the school?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Not anymore.
And then even so, I have 6 sons. They're all grown except one now, and they've always been exposed to guns. Like always. I have granddaughters who come over. Like when you teach guns, and I don't always have them locked. Like my pistol by my bedside is not locked up.
What kind you got?
You really know that's a 357. I call it Snickers.
Ooh, girl, you are dangerous.
Sorry,
Snickers, huh?
Snickers.
I didn't know this about you. No, I'm just
You gotta come to the Probable Cause podcast to find out
All kind of things.
All right,
But I
so
don't
go
keep
ahead.
that locked up though. But think about it. My kids have all grown up. Mom's always had a gun next to her bed. They know gun safety. That it's not about. My kids have never walked out of the house with a gun, and I'm not saying that all parents are the same way because they may teach gun safety and kids do what they want. However, I believe it's the education. I believe it's changing the environment. My kids were raised different than a lot of other kids in the neighborhood. And even them now as adults carry guns.
So, like when you said it's by your bedside, okay. Did you ever feel like you had to pull it and you went to check something? I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
okay.
Oh, yeah. Especially working in the community, you have to be safe. Especially,
I mean, it's a real fear. We know that.
What they say, guns don't kill people.
stupid people with guns kill people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
I
never
believe
did like that though.
How did you fight the peer pressure with your kids?
Yeah, that's a good.
Conversation. And I'm gonna say this, and it's gonna sound that too. I was just gonna say it's gonna sound real cliche, but I'm an old school parent. Like we discipline, you get your butt spanked. But
With
one
what,
thing
though?
I gave my kids, I'll get back to that.
Okay.
And we never use a belt. Never. use a
Good.
belt.
I'm so glad to hear
I
that.
never use, but I pull my flip flop off.
We used to get abused.
Oh, good. Oh, you're one of
Oh,
those
one of
mamas.
those mamas.
Oh,
Yes,
boy,
I-
that can hurt too.
I pull my flip flop off. I'm just saying. But the true thing that I tell people more than anything was I gave my sons love. They were loved on. They were doted on, even especially when it was hard. Like I had a couple kids that went through things with drugs and alcohol, and life is hard then. I'm just gonna love you through it. I don't want you to turn this way. Because then if you looking for love and some trust and somebody to give a damn, if somebody inside your circle don't give it to you, you looking for it now. And so with my boys, it was just, hey, come here. Like Rod said, bring your here, but sit down, talk. And I was lucky enough to have married a man after I had a couple sons that also is the same way. Like, we love on our kids. Even we were worse with calisthenics for abuse. When you get in trouble, I need 100 push-ups now.
Oh, God.
Oh, my favorite one. We had a kid that got caught stealing in school. He had to squat a tire. Oh my God. Until Dad said it was enough. It was abuse. But we did. And he was out there crying and everything. We'll care. Boy, listen, this is what we're not doing.
But won't steal again.
This is what we're not doing.
Nothing else.
Now you welcome to put the tire down, and then I'll give a flip-flop.
Ooh.
But so that's how I
Flip flop on the rear end.
on the rear end. Hands is my favorite. I'll hang out.
Ooh.
Well, I think also knowing where your children are in life.
Just knowing.
You know, not just are personally, but locations as
Right.
well. You know, being that protective parent, I mean, yeah, the kids won't like it, but I mean, hey, it's a part of life. You have to give them their space to learn to bump their head,
Yes.
right? But you want to give them the knowledge so when they do bump their heads, one, it ain't a big gash, right? Or two, they know how to cure it. You know, they know how to take care of it and bandage it and say, oh, dang, now I'm going to go further and be better. You know, it's instilling that inspiration and that pride in them to want to be, you know, want to do good for their family, want to be, you know, do good for themselves.
Well, so one of the things that really, really bothers me is when they go to the old cliche, oh, there's, you know, the black fathers are locked up, the black fathers aren't.
Not all of them.
And all this kind of stuff. Well, guess what? You know, a couple of years ago, I had some people working on my house. I called them the knockabout lads. They were all white. So many of them, either the father wasn't present, or they had a stepdad that beat them when they were really little, or they didn't have hardly any relationship. The dad lived in another house. So it may be true. It's just like true of America at this point. The divorce rate is like, what, 50%?
Yeah.
It's higher than that now.
You know, I mean, I don't know. So I do get sick of hearing that. I mean, there might be some truth in it. I don't know. But I just think that there's all kinds of pressures on black youth that white youth don't have. I'm just going to say that.
Absolutely.
I wasn't.
And so I hope you get the help you need.
Yeah, I wasn't a great dad. Like, and it wasn't because I just ignored. Like, my kids are not strangers to me, but I was in the midst of addiction.
No.
You know what I'm saying? I battled addiction.
And I mean, that's everywhere.
Yeah,
It is.
And so it you know what I mean? Like, I my addiction led me to doing things that I had no business doing. So I spent a lot of time in prison. And so I missed birthdays, I missed Christmases.
You spent 6 years at Westville, right?
Total, no, more than that.
Really?
90 to 92, 94 to 97,
Oh.
and then 99 to 2012.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know you spent that many
I
years.
did a total of
Gee.
10 and a half years.
Oh, it's horrible.
But Jamie, when you have all those factors at high percentages, you know, single parent, no education, not living in a house or a community that doesn't have the best quality of life, lack of employment. I mean, all those are factors and to create that environment. And we have to not only worry about those factors, but then on top of that, we have to worry about legislation. We have to worry about judicial system. We have to worry about being mass incarcerated at a high percentage, higher numbers of sentencing for our young people. There's a lot going on.
Indiana gives out more life sentences than any state.
Oh yeah, and
I've talked about that in the podcast.
yeah, I've saw it, and even here.
Life sentences considered
Are you
50.
talking about actual life sentences or the practical life sentence?
I'm talking about 50 years or more.
Okay.
They're considered life sentences.
I'm talking about 25 years or more is a life sentence for most of these young people, especially. And we heard from a couple people, and especially a man who did time in prison. It should be a different type of sentencing for young people, no matter what color, up to 25.
Maryland has adopted
They have
that
their own law.
that if you get
Sentenced before the
sentenced before the age of 25
25. That's right.
for like more than 25 years or more, when you turn 25, they relook at your case.
Yeah, actually, Mike's not against that. And
They
we
relook
also
at your
have
case.
we also have a Supreme Court justice who thinks this is one.
So it's weird that we brought this up because we were supposed to meet today on another topic, and I think that
Justice.
if you really look at this situation, Mike,
That believe that?
this individual that we're talking about right now exemplifies
Oh no, I'm not talking about.
rehabilitation and why that thing came in place, and not that he was that young, but like I just think that we have to keep in mind that prison.
Does not rehabilitate.
No, not that. Prison is about rehabilitation. It's not about sentencing somebody and just throwing away the key, because these guys do this specifically when they're young, but they do this stuff and then they get 10, 15, 20 years in, and now their whole mind state done changed, and now their whole reality done changed, and now they have a different vision and opinion on,
Yeah, they grew up.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
No possibility of parole, no possibility of coming home, no possibility of being able to help their community, quote unquote, in from inside there.
Yeah.
like AP, I so sympathize with him, man, because
Well, we're talking about Anthony Parrish. I mean, not everybody's going to know who AP is. And we had Katie Guston on, who grew up with him, who Mike was very kind to have her on as well and listen to all our complaints about the criminal justice system. And she's working hard. She's got
Yeah, she
Anthony's
is.
law,
I love
which is good, you know.
I love Kate.
Yeah, she's wonderful.
But like this kid got 170 years.
Who's this kid?
Anthony Parrish,
He got 170?
177, ain't it? Or 175?
I don't remember, but that's insane.
Yeah, and so but he been gone almost 20. Now, I believe this. I believe if you go to prison and you just doing prison, but you then coming back 10, 15 years later asking for a modification, and your disciplinary record ain't showed that you trying to grow up, and your conduct record in prison ain't showed that you trying to grow up, and you ain't did nothing to educate yourself, then you need to stay in prison.
Likely they need a mental health facility rather than prison. That's the
It's
thing.
part of it.
Or just make it part of it.
Shut down was part of it. 4 of them in the state.
But Jamie, understand, prison is a mental health facility in itself. Westville is a mental health facility in itself, because you have to, the one thing that I thank God for throughout my incarceration is that he brought me home and allowed me to keep my mental state. Because I have so many people that I associate with on a daily who done did 3, 4, 5 years in Westville, and they not the same no more. I mean, it's a thing that you have to do within your own self, and you have to dig down deep. You have to give yourself a mental health value.
All right, that's a whole nother, okay?
You're right.
So, and we've been going on for a while. I mean,
Yeah.
I love this conversation. You
Yeah.
know, Roderick, sometimes we get on the phone and we're on there for a whole hour.
Hours.
And same thing used to happen with me and
Get my
Ty.
car on.
So, what?
Can I get my little candy, not my little
Treat. We get our treat.
I don't know, starving from this. But anyway, I love this, and I hope that somehow or other this works. If it happened in Baltimore, it can happen here.
Yeah, I got it.
I hope we have that. You know, I hate this word stakeholders, but that's what we need at this point. So, does anybody want the last word before I sign off, Mike?
I think we just all, as a community, need to recognize what we've been doing hasn't worked.
Come on, Mike.
And
Come on.
everything you guys have said, we've got somebody doing every one of those programs.
Mm-hmm.
When you started about housing, you know, we've got Habitat for Humanity that does that stuff. I think for shelter for women, we've got Vincent Villages, we've got the YW. So we've got stuff, but are they connected? Are
Not
they
at all.
coordinated?
Yeah.
Is there somebody looking at this holistically? And I what has at least impressed me about this is this idea of community, that let's utilize the resources we have,
Yes.
but knock down some of the barriers to getting into those programs. Because even if you stop the violence on the incident right now, if you don't offer that kid an alternative,
Yes.
Yes, sir.
he's going to go back to it.
That's it. Yes.
That's it.
And that's where I think I've said for a long time, we need families. All of this goes back to the family. Well, we can't put all of these people back in families. So we kind of need to create
Yeah, they're offering
family.
this alternative.
and cover these different
And that's what
things
we're trying to do.
more than just the idea of, oh, we're going to take the gun away from them.
Yes.
Or you're going to step in between two guns and
Yeah.
save the day.
I would say ride it.
When we turn on, I'm gonna call my little buddy Willie, let him tell you how we met.
Yeah.
But,
Willie had a
we
good
need
one,
to,
this long on it.
it just needs this holistic approach.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And hopefully this is something that, we all can work together on, of trying to make that happen, and then kind of take back a neighborhood at a time.
That's it. That's
06, 03.
We're ready.
So anyway, this has been The Probable Cause. You can listen to us on Apple and Spotify. I encourage everybody, because this was great, we had 3 guests, to see it on YouTube. Anything else, Brock, I need to add before I sign off? I think that's everything. Anyway, for now, we say goodbye.
Goodbye.
This episode is filmed and edited by Frosty Pictures. The Probable Cause is produced by Maumee Media.
Worried when I crossed the Michigan line, a cop from Steuben County waiting on I-69. A headlamp went out while he pulled me over. Charged me with possession after I rolled down the window. Now that's skunk. Indians a trip when it comes to weed. It's like who doesn't smoke or use gummies? Your grandpa, your brother, your rich friend from school? Hell, throw in the whole courthouse and my attorney too. It's time those assholes change these stupid laws. It ain't worth the paper for a probable cause. On a bar stool in my usual place. This guy next to me said he was looking for some cocaine. Hell, I just sold him an 8-ball with a little piece off for me. But my buyer was a cop? Should've known he was a creep. So I'm a dealer, right? You gotta be kidding. It's a rich man's drug. I just take it because I'm injured. 8 years in Westville with a monkey on my back. There's more drugs in here than you can shake a shank at. One dirty drug test, man, this system's flawed. Undercover screwed me in my probable cause. Street crimes never did me no favors. I'm hooked on Fetty. I'm a junkie, not a felon. Told that son of a bitch on the way to lockup. I can't seem to shake it. I need help, not mocking. What do you want from someone who's been through the system? Drugs all through the house before mom and dad went to prison. Throw me in jail and give me a fine? Someday I'll be dead and away from your kind. Now I'm at the courthouse in front of a judge. Can't say my public defender cares for me much. Crimes are committed on both sides of the law. God help me now with this probable cause. Sea shift never gets old. Anything can happen when you're out on patrol. You think I'm just eating donuts, man? Give me a break. Nothing on this job is a piece of cake. Lights and sirens activated. This knucklehead wants to chase. Baby mama at the scene just spit in my face. Wife's worried that someday I won't be pulling up at all. You'll read about my killer in a probable cause. Man. She went through my phone and she seen my text. I told her forget it. It was just my ex. She took a swing and knocked me flat. Man, I went wild to get her back. Judge slapped me with a no contact order. Now she's got the kids and she's staying with her mother. So she started it all and I have to take the fall. You can read my whole story in the probable when I was young. Caught a case for dealing and did my time. Yeah, I got a record, but I was doing fine. Running my own business on the southeast side. Yeah, I got a gun. I kept it on hand. Told the cop my reason, thought he'd understand. In this neighborhood, you need some protection. Attorney thought I could get just community corrections, but the judge decided to send me to prison. Can't get ahead no matter how hard I try. Read the probable cause, it'll make you cry.
Whispers and rumors that don't get reported. Stories I write that are often distorted. Got my notebook and pen, and I'm ready to listen. Tell me the truth, I'll consider your position. I've seen killers with eyes so cold and dead, and others go to prison because of what someone said, rotting away for the rest of their lives, leaving a hole here on the outside. Things are sad here on earth, and it's no wonder why, when you consider the sociopaths who remain in charge. It's me who sees the system for all its flaws, and I usually start with the probable cause. My right hand is reading the probable cause.